2 of our New Zealand project. So we've got all of our clips in the timeline where they need to be, but we're going to kind of move them around a little bit. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to kind of make some cuts and extend some clips and things of that nature. So the first thing we're going to do is the first clip of the aerial plane. It's kind of too long, and it's kind of a good intro, but it would be a good outro as well. An intro comes obviously at the beginning, and an outro comes obviously at the end. So we're going to move our playhead, which is this blue triangular looking thing with the red line, till we get to 3.5 seconds. So that would be 3 seconds, 15 frames. We're going to move that in. And 3. You can also go a frame at a time by pushing the arrows. Okay, so now we're right at 3 seconds and 15 frames. And we can actually cut this clip if we select the clip and then push these scissors right here. And that actually splits the clip into 2 clips. So we split the clip. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select this second half right here, and we are going to drag it and drop it at the very end of the movie. So we're actually going to move it over here, let it snap, and then we've got that there. Now we've got this empty space here, and we don't need that anymore, so we can actually just right click in that empty space and say delete and close gap, and that closes that gap there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually use a pan and zoom on the sand border. So if we go to the sandboarding clip, which is this clip right here, clip 3, make sure you select the clip first. And then I like to do it from the menu bar because it's just faster. If you do stuff from over here, it kind of will lag sometimes. So your tools are also up here. You can click tools and you can say pan and zoom. So we'll click on pan and zoom. And what it wants us to do, it wants us to basically keep her in the middle of the frame throughout the entire clip. Now, she's already kind of like pretty zoomed in on. So for where it's going to start, as you can see, this says 1, and it's at the very beginning of the clip. If I clip the second one, now it's at the very end of the clip, and this says 2. So all we really need to do is try to keep her in the center of the frame. So if we drag 2 down to where she's kind of in the center, that pretty much does it for us. We can click preview to see what it's going to look like. And as you see, it kind of keeps her in the middle of the frame the entire time. So we'll clip done now. We're done with that one. Now, for the first time, you'll see this yellow bar appears. Okay, it means that we've applied some kind of effect to that, but it hasn't rendered it out yet. So let's see. We'll worry about that later. But the next thing we're going to do is the Zipline clip is too long, clip 5. So we're going to go to that clip, which is right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim it a little bit. So if you double click the Zipline clip, you'll open up this little window again. And it says that we have 9 seconds, but we really want it to be around 6 seconds and 20 frames. So it says drag the end point. The end point is where it starts. In is start, out is end. So we're going to drag this until it's 6 seconds and 20 frames. So about there. So now it just shows them from when they're about there until the very end. So now we've got that. All we have to do now is close this window. As you can see, it already trimmed it in our timeline. So we just right click on that empty space. We say delete and close gap, and it'll close that gap. Next thing we're going to do is the whale clip, which is clip 11. It's a little too short. We can make it longer. And the way we do that is if you hover kind of over the end, let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see a little bit better. If you hover over the end of the clip, you see this like red bracket with arrows. If the bracket is pointed like this, you're actually doing that on clip 10. So make sure you're doing it on clip 11. If you select the clip, that kind of helps. But when you see this little icon, you're going to click and hold and then drag that all the way to the very end. and then let go. And that just extends that clip the rest of the way out till the end of the clip. Now, again, we mentioned that there's this orange line or yellowish orange line that's come up over here. And what that means is that there's an effect placed on that clip, and the effect is not going to look very good when we try to play it. So it says, for smooth, high quality playback, click the render button. So if you click render, you'll see that it is rendering and it turns green. So now that clip has rendered. Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay. And we do Command S to save. And that is the end of day 2.